Hello everyone, welcome to a very special episode of Dayspring Discussions. I am your host, Sean McGahee, and this is the show we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. But today, on today's show, we're going to talk about one thing only, and that is CW superhero shows. That's right, last night was the season finale of The Flash, which wraps up all the Greg Berlanti superhero Arrowverse shows on the CW. So I am joined today by a man who loves these shows just as much as I do, Mr. Aaron Bacarro.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
All right. Aaron is here to give me a little help to review the season finales, but also we're going to talk a little bit about the season as well. Maybe speculate a little bit about what we might see in the coming seasons with these shows too. So, Aaron, just a little background. You don't read, you haven't read like comic books, right? You weren't growing up reading comic books.
Nope. So not a big comic book fan, but a huge movie buff. TV shows are definitely my forte. So pretty much all that universe is what I have a lot of experience with.
So you don't know like the Green Arrow comics, Flash comics. This is what you know is what the CW has been showing you these last couple of years.
Essentially, and then when I do see something that I want to research, then of course I go on a tangent and look at that stuff. But no, what I know is what CW shows.
So any of these shows have you been watching from the beginning, or did you catch up? Like when did you start watching Arrow and Flash and stuff like that?
So I started watching Arrow season 1, and I saw season 1 and I took a break for a while. Then season 3 came out, and then it's off from there.
Okay, so you caught up season 3, caught up with the Flash. So you've been watching Legends since the beginning, right?
Yep, Legends since the beginning.
And what about Supergirl?
Supergirl, so I started Supergirl last crossover episode. So
okay, so this last season when they did the alien invasion?
Yep, so I pretty much got all the way caught up for that.
Okay.
And then now I'm caught up on Supergirl too.
Okay, cool. We're all good to go then. All right, guys. So like I said, we're going to run through this real quick. We'll start with the show that actually had their first season finale, which is DC's Legend of Tomorrow. It was the end of the second season for this series. They had 17 episodes this season, and to be honest, that's the one show I don't watch. Now, season 1, I watched most of it. Season 2, I watched a couple episodes. I actually had to go back and watch the season finale just to make sure I was prepared for the show. So I wouldn't say I was lost as to what was going on because I knew the character dynamics and everything like that. But it's something about the show I just don't... It doesn't do it for me. Why do you watch this show?
I gotta say the Legion of Doom, man. It's the best, to me, villain mashup, even though Prometheus is like on point as well. I mean, those three, you get every kind of aspect. You get the comedy aspect, you get the true evil aspect, you get all three different personalities in three different worlds, and they're what makes it for me. Yeah. You know? I
like it too. I like his Legends of Tomorrow. It's definitely, you can tell it's a mesh of the other shows, whereas like Flash and Arrow kind of stand on their own.
Exactly.
But you don't get Legends of Tomorrow without Arrow and Flash, at least, in that mix.
Well, I feel like you are closer to each person if you've watched Arrow. Because a lot of those people are from Arrow. Yeah, and you get Flash too.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, the one thing I like, the two characters I like in Legends of Tomorrow are Sarah Lance and Ray Palmer.
Yep.
But it's not enough to keep me in there. Because honestly, I didn't like Firestorm and Flash.
Yeah.
And then, of course... Captain Cold and Heatwave. They don't do it for me, I guess is what it is. I will say the addition this season of Vixen I have liked.
Yep.
And then Captain Steel.
Yep.
Those two are pretty good. Vixen's hot.
Yeah, so I can agree with that.
Definitely do it for me on that. So that was cool. But yeah, like I said, I've only watched a couple episodes this season, but I will say it is better than what last season was.
I'll definitely agree with that. This most recent season was for me probably right behind Arrow. Yeah. Like Arrow's at the top for me, and then I'd say Legends of Tomorrow is the next one.
So as far as seasons go, for me it's okay. It's tough though. I will tell you though, those last couple episodes of Supergirl jumped it up for me.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that. I can't believe the scenes where they were just destroying the city.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, we'll get to that next. All right. So yeah, for me it goes. I think Arrow, then Supergirl, then Flash, then Legends of Tomorrow. Just because, like I said, I don't watch it.
Yeah.
But okay, getting to the episode a little bit. So the premise of kind of the season or of this season finale is that the Legion of Doom has been seeking the Spear of Destiny because they want to rewrite reality. And in the last couple episodes before the season finale, Captain Cold showed back up. He killed Vixen. So now the Legends have to go back in time again to stop the Legion from getting the Sphere. I will say, last night I sat down and I watched Flash, and then I watched Legends tomorrow, and the time travel was just like boggling my mind.
Yep.
How this whole series plays with everything. It's really weird.
Well, the last 2 episodes, you get a lot of those paradoxes,
Yeah, exactly.
and those probably are the 2 hardest ones to watch of the season without watching the whole season prior.
That's true.
You know, because it's pretty linear time jumping wise, because, you know, the whole story kind of goes in one straight line, but towards the end, they're going back to see themselves again, and then you don't know who's from one timeline, who's from the future timeline. It gets pretty confusing there.
Yeah, it does, and they got the time paradoxes and stuff like this episode started off, they had to go back to 1916 to help themselves, who were already there trying to get the sphere, but they had to make sure that their older selves didn't see themselves to create a time paradox. But of course, eventually they did meet up, and that created time storms.
Yep.
It's all timey.
Yep.
It's all timey with that. There was a couple of highlights in the show starting off. There was the scene where Ray dies.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like it wasn't as, what I want to say, the stakes weren't as high as they should have been, because you knew from the very beginning of the episode they were going back in time, and they knew that if they succeeded, they would fade away.
Yep.
So, like, Ray dying is like, okay, well, we knew he was going to die anyway. So the stakes weren't as, as what they should be, I feel, for that level. Let's see here. Yeah, the time quakes that started happening. I did like the little talks with where Nate and Sarah both kind of talked to their older selves, gave themselves a little perspective. Like I said, one of my favorite... actually, one of my favorite characters in the entire Arrowverse is Sarah Lance. I didn't like what they did with her in Arrow Season 3, where they killed her off and brought her back in Season 4. And it was ridiculous, in my opinion, because it was up to me, she'd still be Black Canary on Arrow.
Yeah.
Definitely in that. But again, in just watching this season finale, I did like her character arc, because she does, she thought about taking the Spear of Destiny and bringing back her sister.
Yeah.
They had that conversation, which was really sweet. What was the line? Someone strong enough to do the right thing. And that was great, where Sarah, she always saw herself as damaged, but, all this building up, she took over as captain of the Wave Rider this season when Rip was gone, really stepped up and really has become a great leader and a great character.
Yeah, she shaped the whole Legends, essentially this entire episode, because they were all kind of broken up before, and, from Season 1 to Season 2, they're a much stronger team, and they obviously care quite a bit more about each other. That's kind of reflected at the end of Season 1 as well.
Okay, so, of course, maybe I missed this, of course, but what happened to Hawkman and Hawkgirl? They were at the end of Season 1, they were gone, right?
Yeah, they were gone.
Okay,
so that was a very short, which today I was actually thinking about it. I was just like, man, those are 2 good characters, and they
I didn't think they were. That crossover episode last season where it introduced them and Savage.
Yeah.
That I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of, even reading the comic books, I'm not a fan of Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
Yeah.
So they just didn't do anything for me.
Yes, I mean, I think that, you're either for them or against them, but I mean, honestly, CW, I mean, as, they did it as well as they could have done it, and I feel like the production value of all their shows and all their characters, get to the point where you just care about these people,
Yeah, there was a couple things. I think it was an episode of Flash this season where it was, really, CGI centered or something like that, and I was like, man, they're blowing their whole budget on this one scene.
Yeah.
I was like, what are they going to do the rest of the season?
Yeah.
But going back to Legends Tomorrow, they definitely dealt a lot with time remnants in this and in Flash, which we'll get to.
Yep.
So you saw Thawne bring back all his time remnants
Yep.
with that, and of course it didn't work out for him in the end because the Black Flash, or the Time Wraith as they call him,
Yep.
caught up with him.
Yeah.
Now this character, the Time Wraith that they've had, is in the comic books they refer to him as the Black Flash, and the Black Flash shows up in the comics when a speedster is about to die, is what it is. I mean, and that I think they kind of tied that in with this universe.
Yeah.
Whereas when the Time Wraith shows up, he's trying to set something correct in the time stream.
Yep.
Which usually means taking a speedster's life, which makes sense in the comics.
Yeah.
Connects those two. And in this one, he took Thrawn's life.
Yep.
Exactly with that. So there you go.
Which that was a very good death.
So
too.
of course, when we saw Thawne die before, do
Yeah.
you really think he's gone?
See, that's the ultimate question. Can a speedster actually die? I mean, I think in the CW world, they, kind of shy away from that.
Yeah, I mean, they can do it. Just, when a character can travel time, I mean, I guess all bets are off.
Yeah,
in that
exactly.
instance. Let's see, I think that was it. Dark and Snart are put back where they go.
Yep.
So they put Snart back in 2014, I believe, when he first joined up with the Legends, correct?
Yeah.
I think. And then they put Dark back in the 1980s with Sarah did. So there's a whole fight with her and with Dark and Sarah where, you think she's been mad at Dark this whole time for killing Laurel. And you think, it's a growth of the character Sarah where she didn't kill him. She actually set him back on the right path to let him follow, the course that was already laid out.
Yep.
Which means killing her sister. But
yeah,
she had to put, the fabric of reality before her own personal feelings.
Well, and see, that's the thing about time travel is, in order to become who you are, and you're traveling
You
back
can't
in
really
time.
mess with it.
Yeah, you can't really change anything. And that was the hard part for her to deal with,
Mm-hmm.
But she handled it like a champ.
Yeah.
I mean, me put in that situation,
Oh,
I don't know.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Well, we'll get to the guy who puts himself as head of reality here in just a minute. But okay, let's talk about this. The two new characters, Vixen and Captain Steel, actually had a little romance going on this season as well.
Yep.
How do you like them together? Do you think that relationship works?
I don't know. I mean, I see the dynamic and I see how they could be together, but I'm not so interested in that.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, it just doesn't do it for me.
I always thought that who was it? Rip and Sarah were gonna hook up at one point.
Yeah.
I always felt like I feel like there's that tension there.
Well, they're both type A's, and and
exactly. But then okay, so speaking of that, you had the scene Rip leaves because he believes that Sarah's doing a better job than he does in guiding the Legends and being captain of the Wave Rider.
Uh-huh.
So I guess my question was, where's he going?
See,
he's a time master, okay?
Yep.
Is he going to go to a certain time and live, or is he going to keep hopping time? I mean...
Well, so going back to when he was the film director, and I think it was, the 70s or 80s when he was back there?
Oh, you got me. I don't know.
But, so he goes back and he's a film director, and he has his memory lost, and he reverts back to being... a director, but he reverts back to the story of the Legends. So I think that's ingrained in who he is. I think that he'll somehow be tied into it, but maybe not be as directly involved.
Okay.
So maybe being like a time master himself, like he goes off into the temporal zone, which is like the end of time for them, and maybe he's doing something down there. I don't know. For me, speculating at this point, I mean, I really don't see him doing too much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch the show on a regular basis, so I really can't take all the past episodes and contemplate a theory just because I'm not as familiar with the material. But let's go straight to the end. The cliffhanger. They go and take off into time. They get caught in another time storm, and they end up in Los Angeles 2017. But it doesn't look like Los Angeles right now. There are dinosaurs, and there's like some futuristic buildings I saw in the background too.
Yeah,
it's very. So I'm curious what all that means.
Honestly, that one threw me through a loop. I have no idea, where they're going with this. But I think it's one of those things where the Legends have a tendency to like change time completely and then fix it. So I think it's going to be more in that kind of realm where something weird happened and then they're just going to go back and revert it all the way back to how it once was.
Yeah, of course they always have to fix time, especially with these season finales. But usually by the first episode of the next season, everything's put back normal.
Yeah.
How it's supposed to go. So
yeah.
But overall, like I said, Legend, I give it credit for being better than it was the first season. I still don't think I'm that interested in it. I wish I could be, but it's one of those shows like every once in a while, even this season, there were several points in the season where I'm like, all right, I'll try picking it back up again. And I get one, maybe two episodes in, I'm just like, no, I can't do it. There's too much other good TV that I want to watch.
I feel, splitting up your time between all these really good shows. But for me, the storyline, I mean, it is cheesy at times. I will give it that.
Somebody made this comparison once where they think it's a superhero version of Doctor Who. Because Doctor Who travels time and stuff like that. And literally it's what they do all the time. It's like, yeah, kind of see that.
Yeah.
Just a little cheesy in my opinion. But I'll see. I'll start off with the first episode in season 3 and go from there and see where it goes. All right, so moving on to the next show, guys. Supergirl had its sophomore season this year, moved over from CBS to the CW. Now, it's a bit of a different show. It is technically in the same universe, but it's not the same reality. It's a different Earth. So in this one, she's not going to go and meet up with Flash and Arrow and stuff like that. You had the crossover episode this season where Barry brought her over to their reality so she could help out and fight the aliens, and then she went back to that reality as well. Which the crossover episode, they said it's a 4-part, 4-night crossover.
Yeah,
it was 3
Yeah,
nights.
it was.
The only season that was a crossover. They showed exactly the same scene in Flash the next night. So really, that Supergirl episode had nothing to do.
And you know what? I watched all of Supergirl to get to that point, and then at the end, I was just like, "Oh, this is disappointing," because I could have watched the last 5 minutes of Supergirl and been all the way caught up. Yeah,
and Supergirl. It's one of those things. When I first saw Supergirl, like the trailer for Supergirl, I was like, "Oh my god, this looks ridiculous." It looks like So it's like somebody came up with the idea of what they think a girl would want to watch in a superhero show. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. So then when season 1 came out on Netflix, I started watching it, and I'm like, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
I started watching it, and you could tell though, like, it didn't belong on the CBS.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a CW show, so they switched it over, and again, this second season been I think it's been better than the first season. A couple of things that kind of bother me though, starting off, you know how, like I said, they always wrap up that season finale with the first episode.
Yeah.
Jimmy and Kara were teased that entire first season as a couple.
Yep.
And that first episode, they drop them.
Yep.
I'm like, really? Really? They spent a whole season acting like these two were going to get together, and in that first episode, they drop them. That's ridiculous.
Well, honestly, I feel like the ABC season, that was just...
CBS.
Or CBS, I'm sorry. The CBS, I feel like that was just... They kind of just scratched that for the most part. The characters that were there, they already have those developed. Yeah. I feel like this is the first real season, and honestly, this is the first season I liked of Supergirl.
I give that.
Like season 2 was the one I liked.
I've liked it a lot more.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think much like Stephen Amell with Arrow and Grant Gustin with the Flash, it's really Melissa Benoist who really carries the show.
Yeah.
As the star of this, because I saw too at the beginning of this season where they had interviewing people from each 4 of the shows. You had those 3, coming out, and then you also had Katie Lotz, who plays Sarah, as they kind of pinpointed her as kind of the star of Legends Tomorrow, just based off interviews they have with other people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, in that opinion. But yeah, Supergirl, one thing I did miss, I missed Kat Grant this season.
Seeing her in the finale, I was just like, man, she is so badass.
Exactly. I totally missed her. Well, it's because, like I said, when they moved from CBS to the CW, they moved from filming from Los Angeles to Vancouver, and what's her name that plays Kat Grant? I'm going to forget. Callista Flockhart, who's married to Harrison Ford. I was like, nope, not going to go. So she stayed in LA. Everyone else moved to Vancouver, and that's why we don't see her except for a guest starring in the last couple episodes of Supergirl.
Yeah, maybe she'll make the jump.
I don't think so. Well, I already heard she's not going to be a season regular again in season 3, but I would like to see her more because I did miss her.
She was she's one of those personalities that changes on on a dime.
Keeps the characters on their toes.
Yeah.
Keeps it interesting. That fire.
Yeah. And
fire character.
Speaking of that, what was your favorite part of this entire episode? Because I have a very specific
of this season
or the season finale. Yeah.
Of the season finale. Well, let's go through the season finale. And then we'll talk favorite episodes, okay. So starting off this season finale. So what happened was, for those of you who, of course, if you haven't been watching, I don't know why you're listening to us right now. We're giving spoilers like hell. So hopefully you've seen this. This season we had, maybe it was the Daxamites. You had Mon-El come to Earth. Daxam was a neighboring planet to Krypton. That when Krypton blew up, they suffered a fate, got the debris, and kind of ruined their planet. And then Mon-El, who's find out was a prince of Daxam, comes to Earth. Supergirl teaches him how to be a hero. They fall in love. They get together, and then his parents show up. Played by Kevin Sorbo and Terry Hatcher, which I gotta say, Terry Hatcher nailed it.
Those 2 casting pieces were amazing.
Oh,
they were. I mean, I can't believe they got them to do that.
That's what I love too about if you watch like superhero shows, like back in Smallville too. definitely pay tribute to old Superman cast.
Yeah,
Like
I agree
like in this series, we had Dean Cain, who was Superman in Lois and Clark.
Yep.
Helen Slater, who's their mom, was Supergirl in the 1980s movie.
Yep.
And then, of course, Terry Hatcher played Lois in Lois and Clark in the 90s as well. So I've always loved in Superman shows where they always bring back alumni from other shows, which I always thought. Which is one of the reasons when they first said Superman was going to be in second season of Supergirl, so many people wanted Tom Welling from Smallville to play Superman.
Yeah, no, I'm not. No,
I would have loved it, but I'm a big Smallville fan, so that's just me.
But you know what? Also, what's cool about that is like that ties it in generationally. So your kids, will like the same show you will, and you have something to attribute to that.
Speaking of that, there were several points throughout the year where I'd be sitting there watching TV, and my daughter Nora is like, "Sean, Daddy, what are you watching?" I'm like, "Watching Supergirl." And she'll sit down and watch with me.
Yep.
She won't really understand what. Like, she sat down with me when I was watching the season finale. And she's like, "What's going on? Who's that person? Who's that person? What are they doing?"
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, let me watch the show. But in any event, she sits down and watches with me, which I think is cool.
Yeah, and she'll develop her own kind of sense of the show, and then as she gets older, she'll formulate her own opinions.
Exactly.
And that'll always be good.
Definitely. So we have the Daxamites. They're invading Earth. Mon-El's mom, I forget what her name is, she kills her husband because he agrees to let their son stay, and she's pissed off about it, so she attacks Earth, brings all the Daxams with, and then when Kara goes to confront her, turns out she's got Superman under her spell using silver kryptonite. Now, are you familiar with all the forms of kryptonite?
You know what? Seeing that silver kryptonite was the first time, and I was just like, what is this?
Okay.
Like, at first I thought it was the fakest thing I've ever seen.
Of course, there's green kryptonite that, makes Kryptonians weakened, okay?
Yeah, there's red.
There's red kryptonite that actually, in the comics, it does a lot of stuff. Like, it's unpredictable each time. What it's come to know after Smallville is that basically it allegedly lowers their inhibition. So like in Smallville, whenever Clark was on red kryptonite, he was an asshole.
Yeah.
He was a complete asshole. Blue kryptonite takes away their powers, and then silver kryptonite makes them go crazy. So in this episode, that's why he was picturing Kara as Zod, because he was hallucinating. He was hallucinating his worst fear, is what it was. So that's why he pictured her. And so you had Superman versus Supergirl. Now, when they teased it at the end of the last episode, it was like, okay, I get this is Supergirl's show, but this is Superman.
Yeah.
Okay? You cannot have... I don't care what you want to do to make your character look good. You can't have her beat Superman, especially when he thinks he's fighting his greatest villain for the safety of the planet.
Yep.
And what they do... Supergirl beats Superman.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm calling it bullshit.
Well, and honestly, the fight scenes were, in that particular, were...
They were good.
They were good. I couldn't believe the moves that they did, and I was just like, wow, this is crazy, But yes, I agree with you. I was just
I get it. I wish they would have gotten that point. Like, here's the thing of me. Like, okay, they were fighting, and then Alex comes up, and I'm like, you know how they easily could have made all the fans happy as opposed to having Supergirl actually beat Superman? Is someone shows up with green kryptonite, weakens him, and weakens her too, but weakens him to where eventually the effects wear off, and that's it.
Yeah.
So you never really get a winner. That would have been a good way to solve it, as opposed to having Supergirl actually beat Superman.
Well, I'm okay with them having an Earth champion, so I'm cool with that, but...
Again, they officially called Supergirl Earth's champion.
Yeah.
And I get it, it's Supergirl. You gotta, put your star ahead, but I still think it's bullshit.
I don't know. I think you're just one-sided on that because you grew up, loving Superman so much, but I can see...
let me take a sip from my Superman coffee cup, okay?
But, I can see why they did it, and, I'm okay with it. I'm not mad at it, but
How did you feel about the guy who played Superman? Tyler something or other. The guy who played Superman this season. Did you buy him as Superman?
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but I like him better than the
Henry Cavill?
Yeah,
okay.
I do.
And that's fine with me, because, Christopher Reeves is still my Superman.
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like not seeing him so much makes it easier for me to like him.
Yeah, exactly. He was in the first couple episodes at the beginning and then the first couple episodes at the end.
Yep.
One thing about Supergirl too that I guess when I first saw the series, I saw Jimmy Olsen as this like big hunking black guy, and I'm like, that's not fucking Jimmy Olsen. But then I realized the way they were doing it with the story, especially this year after they talked about Superman, the fact that Superman was already married to Lois, he'd already been Superman for several years, is I can't look at it like the Superman mythology, I got to think, okay, this is years later. You know, Lois has found out who Superman is. He's been Superman for a while. Little Jimmy Olsen has grown up into a man who's an editor now for Catco and stuff like that. So when I was able to think about it, okay, this isn't the Superman mythology. This is years later. It's like when they grew up.
Yeah.
So when I thought about that, I was able to buy into the show more in that respect.
Yeah.
Now the guy who played Superman in this one, Tyler, again, I don't know his name. I liked the way he acted. I don't like the fact that A, he was the same age as Kara.
Yeah.
And B, he wasn't as muscular as he should have been.
Well, you know, I'm okay with Superman not being like, you know, all hulked out and everything, you know, because I feel like, you know, with the orange sun and everything, that's how they get their power and everything.
The yellow sun.
Or the yellow sun, yeah.
What color is our sun?
I know.
Tell me, what color is our sun? Look out the window here.
But I don't know. I could buy into him just being like a normal guy. I think that would be easier to like have a secret identity than being a normal guy.
I got you. Because if you want to get technical, I mean, old canon is that Superman really wasn't that strong. It had to do with he had a very thin, invisible force field to wherever he touched something, the force would go around that thing, and that's how he was able to lift it up.
Oh, okay.
So technically, he's not super strong, but we're getting technical here. Yeah. We don't need to get that technical. We'll just say I didn't think he was big enough. But acting-wise, I thought he did a good job. I just didn't like the fact that he looked the same age as Kara when he should be at least 6 or 7 years older than her.
I agree with that.
All right, so then we get to the big battle with Kara and, I'll say, Terry Hatcher.
Yeah.
She starts to beat her, and she starts to bleed kryptonite.
Yeah.
And you kind of find out that's a side effect of when Krypton blew up and destroyed Daxam, too. I thought that was pretty interesting, of course, you know, because that puts it on a kind of a more even playing field. The fact that it appears that it looks like throughout most of the season, because Mon-El couldn't fly, and he's not as strong as Supergirl.
Yeah.
So, you know, giving her kryptonite blood that she bleeds while she's fighting Kara evens it out a little bit. I totally get that. But yeah, overall, I mean, I like the fight. I liked Terry Hatcher as a villain.
Yep.
And I was really upset when they took her away, when they killed her.
Yeah.
And she crumbled too. So I'm not sure why she crumbled. Is it because she stayed on the planet when it was poisoned?
Well, so when they turned into lead, it looked like they turned into stone or something. I honestly have no idea.
Because she crumpled. I thought she turned into like dust or stone, and then she crumpled.
Yeah.
Is what I thought, which I thought is a waste because she was such a great villain. I want to see her come back.
Yeah.
I mean, especially now, the way they played it out was, you know, Lana made the device that made all of Earth poison. So, going back to history, giving your comic history here, pay attention, okay? The character of Mon-El first appeared in Superman, where he landed on Earth, and Clark, who was actually a boy still at the time, found Mon-El that way, okay? And he was, you know, happy to have someone like him. They were friends, and all of a sudden Mon-El got sick, and you found out that it was actually Earth that was poisoning him. Unlike Clark, that gave him power, the Earth actually poisoned him instead.
Interesting.
So what he did was he took Mon-El and he put him in the Phantom Zone, which is a place where time does not exist. So as long as he stayed in the Phantom Zone, he'd be fine.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So kind of in that respect with this show, what happened was they poisoned the Earth so no Daxams could live here. So then Mon-El had to go off Earth. And I think, too, at the end there, he's going into that little hole or whatever.
That little, yeah.
I think it's maybe the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, that could be it.
It's just an idea. Just an idea I had. Something like that. And also go with Mon-El. I'll give a little more comic history there. In the new Krypton storyline, when Superman leaves Earth for a little while, he actually finds a way to cure Mon-El to where he takes over as Earth's protector while he's gone, too.
Interesting.
Which is pretty cool. But then at the end of that storyline, he ends up back in the Phantom Zone because you got to set course correct and make the mythology everyone knows.
Yeah.
that. But then in that storyline, too, he did have a little bit of a romance with Supergirl, which fits into this season. And Mon-El, this season, I thought he was a little bitch to start off with. I didn't like him.
Yeah.
But once he actually got together with Kara, I liked the character more, and I like where they took the character.
Yeah, I thought that whole, you know, their interactions together, I mean, you know, I don't really think that she needs a love interest. I feel like anytime there's a strong female character, they always have to put a love interest in there. I could have done without it. That's just me personally, you know.
Speaking of love interests, let's talk about this season.
Yeah.
With Miss Alex and Maggie.
Yeah, that's that was a good transition there.
The male chauvinist in me, every time they were on screen, I was like,
yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I love it. And Maggie's the character. She was in the comics as well. Alex was not in the comics, although the thing they do now is like whenever there's a TV show that comes out based on a comic book, they make that comic book like the TV show or like the movie.
Yeah.
So like the current Supergirl comic is so much like the TV series now. So I think they actually have the Alex character now in the comic.
Yeah.
Which is a whole different subject on that. But yeah, I like the way it felt. One thing I liked about it is the way they got together, and it felt real. Like what happened was, she realized, her true sexuality, and the person who made her feel that way didn't reciprocate it, so she felt hurt, and then their relationship, it felt real.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
I agree with that, and that was
much more real than some of the relationships.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, Mon-El and Supergirl, like, I mean, that one didn't do anything for me, but that could be me being a man.
You knew those two were going to get together from the beginning, because they were fighting at the beginning, and he's got superpowers.
Yep.
Obviously, she was done with Jimmy, so.
Yep.
But another relationship was Wynn and the alien.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
They got, So Wynn, I like what they do with Wynn now, because instead of being just a Catco employee, he's part of the DEO? DA?
DOJ?
DOG?
DOG? Department of
Department of
Alien.
DOE?
Yeah, we'll go
Whatever.
DOE.
Way to go with that, okay? He works with them. I liked him in that role much more than I did in Catco.
Yeah.
In that instance. So he was.
Well, then also he helps Jimmy at night.
Well, he is this show's Jimmy Olsen. Really, is what it is. He's this show's Jimmy Olsen. He's their Cisco. He's their Felicity.
Yep.
The computer person who is there for comic relief.
Yep.
Is what it's all about. I think he worked well in this one. Jimmy Olsen as Guardian in this, I noticed in like the last couple episodes, or at least this last season finale, he was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
He was nowhere.
I don't know what's really going on with that storyline.
They tried to give him something with the Guardian, and I'm just like, man, whatever. Yeah. I don't care.
I mean, if he died off and they brought Cat back, I'd be okay with that too. But I mean, that'll never happen.
I don't think they're going to do that. No, I don't think they're going to do that. But yeah, they need to give him something. Because like I said, last season, the only reason he was of interest is because he was Kara's love interest.
Yeah.
And this season, they're like, okay, he's not Kara's love interest. Mon-El is. What do we got to do? We got to keep him relevant. Oh, I know. Let's make him the Guardian.
Yeah.
Oh, this sucks anyway, damn it.
Yeah, and I feel like Guardian's not even
he's not even that cool.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, well, and one thing I did, here's kind of a graph of mine too, is this season in Flash, you had Flashpoint, which affected Arrow and all the other, series or whatever. I think they missed a big opportunity to take the world of Supergirl and bring it over to the rest of the Arrowverse. Make that city in the same reality as all the others. Yeah,
that could. But I mean, I'm not too sure with the DC universe or anything like that. But I mean, can that even happen?
That's what I'm saying, because in Flashpoints and other, they call them crises in the DC comics, where they reset reality. Like in the comics, it used to be like every 20 years, a time reality storyline would come along where they'd have to reset, and like they could retell new origins and like restart the characters for fresh readers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And anytime they do that, they usually end up mixing stuff. Like in this, the newest one, they had Flashpoint, and they started what's called the New 52. They brought characters over from what's called Wildstorm and brought them into the DC universe, is what it is. And right now they have Rebirth, where they're actually taking the Watchmen, the movie Watchmen.
Yeah.
They're part of the DC universe now.
Oh, interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. So they use that point. They use those as way of restarting everything to where fresh readers can jump in, but also taking these characters and putting them in there as well to mix it up. And I felt that was a good thing to use Flashpoint for, as aside from what they actually did with Flashpoint in this.
Yeah.
They could have brought Supergirl characters over, had more interaction. I could have, let's see again. I mean, in that crossover episode, you had Felicity, Cisco, and what's Mr. Terrific? What's his name?
Oh, what is his name?
I don't know. The guy with the Mr. Terrific is what his secret name is. But they had like the tech crew together, and I'd love to throw Wynn in that group. You know?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That's what I'm saying. You get more interaction with that too. Plus, you could see like Cat Grant mixing it up with like Oliver Queen or something like that.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Yeah, they're two good personalities. I feel all right. I can agree with what you're saying there.
I think they just missed a little bit of opportunity in that instance to incorporate it. I mean, I guess it makes it easier that it's still on its own. But I like more the interaction. I like the blended universe in that instance. So then, of course, we got Miss Martian came back.
Yep. And she brought the White Martians.
She brought the White Martians.
That was cool.
The ones who were, she found White Martians who were, felt the same way she did, And I don't know, they didn't really mention anything about how the battle was going on Mars.
Yeah.
But she brought them back to help out, which I thought was cool. I didn't like, though, again, I know from the comic books, like, Martian Manhunter has always been a mentor to Ms. Martian, much like Batman is to Robin.
Yeah.
Flash is to Kid Flash. And then in this episode, they kiss, and I'm just like...
Yeah. Well, and what's up with that? Like, they have like a connected like.
Well, yeah, because you know,
is that all Martians or is that just the Green Martians?
Some of them do. Well, I think this mainly has to do with the fact that she gave him her blood in that one episode where he was sick, and so you know she gave some of her blood. So that's maybe why they share a stronger connection.
Yeah.
More than anything too.
Huh. Interesting.
So, but yeah.
And how many Martians total? Is there a whole bunch of Martians on?
No,
on Mars?
Actually, like in the comic books, there's just the two of them because, like I said, Mars, like he's Martian Manhunter is the last son of Mars, much like Superman is the last son of Krypton.
I gotcha.
Yeah, and then you have Ms. Martian and then all the white Martians too that occasionally come in to fight. But as far as Green Martians, it's just him. Just him. Just
gotcha.
John.
Yeah,
is what it is. So.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the speculation at the end here. Okay, at the very end, we see looks like Krypton again, a different house, not the House of El. And somebody ships the baby out, saying it will grow strong, it will rain, and gives it a little blood on the finger.
Yep.
Any theories?
I honestly don't know too much about that, but I mean it's from Krypton, so I mean maybe I really have no idea. Well, I don't know where they would go with that.
There's two obvious theories, I think. Okay, first one is when I first saw it before they actually showed like the actual scene. I saw the setting or whatever, and I'm like, oh, they're bringing in Baby Zod. Because they introduced Zod in the hallucination of Superman.
Yep.
So I feel like that could be a gateway to bring Zod in. And in the comics, there is a son of Zod, which there's leading into the new Krypton storyline. Zod and his first lieutenant, what's her name, Ursa, had a son. And what happened was he found his way to Earth. And Clark and Lois actually helped raise him.
Yeah.
Is what it was. So that's a really cool storyline. But yeah, with that, at first I thought, I was like, okay, this is Zod's son. They're going to bring him in. And, you know, Kara's going to have to fight Zod or whatever. But then they did the blood thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And now my mind is going towards Doomsday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because with Doomsday, in Doomsday's origin, he was actually created by Kryptonian scientists, as you know, the ultimate killing machine and stuff like that. So the blood thought about Doomsday, but then I thought they just did Doomsday in Batman v Superman, and of course they've done this, you know, Doomsday as human on Smallville several years back. So I feel like they wouldn't go that route. So those are my two, I think, are obvious guesses, but I'm sure there's something that I'm missing that is probably what they're going to do.
Well, and you think the baby's been on Earth?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, because it was on Krypton. Krypton's exploded.
Yeah.
You know, so it had to, you know, it's not been on Earth. It's going to be full grown.
Yeah.
It's going to be, you know, like Superman or, you know, however old he is.
Yeah.
In that instance is what I think it is.
Interesting. And he's just laying in the shadows waiting for the right time to strike.
Laying in the shadows, bloodthirsty, I guess, because, you know, it eats blood, apparently.
I guess, or maybe some kind of weird ritual or something. I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah, that'll be one of those. That's the kind of the cliffhanger they left us on them. You know, Legends left us with the dinosaurs.
Yep.
Supergirl left us with this, you know, child as to who this child is.
Yeah.
So, all right, so moving on. Let's go to the fastest man alive. Allegedly?
Yeah. Apparently, well, I mean, technically he is.
Everyone's been faster than him this month for the whole series. So, The Flash. All right. Flash wrapping up its season 3 on Tuesday night. Basically, the big storyline with this season has been Flashpoint. At the end of season 2, Barry lost his dad and feeling with grief about that, went back in time and actually saved his mother, which is something he decided not to do at the end of season 1.
Yep.
Change of heart, I guess, on that one.
Yeah. Well, his dad died, right?
His dad died.
So
he felt alone. Yeah. I'm sure I get it.
So I'd be in the same shoes.
Yeah. So in doing that, he created the new the new Pine Paradox, which was Flashpoint.
Yep.
And he realized it wasn't the right thing to do, so he went back to set it right. But of course, much like in the Flashpoint storyline too in the comics, he goes to try to set everything right, but everything's not exactly how it is.
Yep.
Diggle's daughter is now a son, which I thought about that too. Was in that first season of Legends Tomorrow, they go to the future and you have the Oliver Queen with the one arm, and then Diggle's son is the new Green Arrow in the future.
Yeah.
But at that time, he still had a daughter. He didn't have a son yet. So did they go into the new future? Or new reality, or
you know what? I actually missed that one, but no, you're right. I totally remember that scene. That was good. Yeah,
exactly. I'm like, oh my god, they had that planned out. It looks like ahead of time. But then Barry meets up with this guy Savitar, who looks like Megatron from Transformers, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
And he's been causing him trouble, giving people powers, and he comes to find out. Oh, your alarm's going off. He comes to find out that it's actually a time remnant of Barry from the future has been causing him all this trouble, and Savitar is looking to kill Iris so that he can be created and become a god and blah blah blah. And that's kind of what after they revealed, the Savitar storyline, that was kind of mostly what the second half was finding a way to change the events of the future so that Iris could live. So at the end of the last episode, we saw it come true.
Yep.
And Savitar stabbed Iris. So Iris West, much like what's her name from season 1? I don't remember. Anyway, Iris West. Oh, like Laurel from Arrow. Okay. Season 1, I thought she was the worst character. I mean, she was just a love interest that was completely horrible. Season 2, I thought she got a lot better because she's one of those people that actually talked some sense into Barry.
Yeah.
Came up with some reason for him that he actually listened to. I liked her. She didn't work this season at all for me.
She just kept jumping into danger, constant. And I was just like, what's going on with this?
Yeah, I mean, of course, they moved along, of course, because in the storyline, Barry does marry Iris, and they live happily ever after, allegedly. It didn't do it. I don't know, the whole Iris dead storyline just didn't do anything more, especially with this, because as soon as I watched the end of that last episode, and they saw, you saw her stabbed, I'm like, well, she's obviously not dead.
Yeah.
I mean, so at the beginning of the episode, we pick up and we find out it was a trick by good old HR.
HR, yeah, that's my dude. He's a good character this season.
HR.
He's surprising.
So yeah, compared to, because in the first season we got Harrison Wells, but it was really Thawne.
Thawne, yep.
Last season we got Harrison Wells, but it was from Earth 2.
Yep.
This one we got HR. He was from Earth 17 or something like that.
Yeah, he's way out in the multiverse.
Yeah, and it turns out he wasn't actually a genius. He was just a creative guy, and they let him stay.
Yep.
And I liked him a lot. It was an interesting character. He played off.
Well, it went from Earth 2. HR Wells being really grumpy all the time to this fun-loving. He loves coffee. He's an exciting person. Fun to watch. Yeah. In my opinion, fun to watch.
He is a fun character to watch. Exactly. He tried to be like a muse to them all.
Yeah.
And they grew on him, especially with Cisco at the end there. When he dies, tell Cisco. And you come to find out later, it's like he was his inspiration and gave him strength and all that.
Yep.
So that was great. But I saw it coming a mile away.
Yeah.
I knew Iris was going to die. I'm like, whatever.
Yep.
They're going to fix it. It's going to be fine. Am I the only one who laughed every time they said the word Speed Force Bazooka?
Yeah, that was actually...
I'm like, come on, Speed Force Bazooka. When you say bazooka, I still think of bazooka gum.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But you know what? HR is just kind of that funny character that could turn something like that into something funny.
It's just, they thought of this way to get Savitar, and of course it turns out that it was actually something he wanted him to build so he could, split himself into many fragments and live throughout time and become a god. And I don't know, the whole storyline, this whole season of Flash has been a disappointment for me, to be honest. It's been a disappointment for me. I mean, I kind of got excited when you had found out that Savitar was a future Barry or a piece of Barry, but I'm like, I kind of saw it coming quite a long ways away.
Yeah,
in my opinion. And there's so much more. I talked to you the other day, or last week about it. I'm like, if he really wanted to save Iris, once he found out that it was a future him, all he had to do was send Iris away to where he doesn't know where she's at. So then Savitar wouldn't know where she's at. So then problem solved.
Yeah, problem solved.
Saved her life.
Yeah.
But no, he was selfish. And that's what I hate about Barry.
Yeah.
He was so freaking selfish in this season. All he cared about was himself, and it made me dislike the character. I mean, in past seasons, I like Barry because he made mistakes, you know? But now he was a dickhead. Dumbass. Dumbass. I'll say it. Dumbass.
This was a learning season for him, for the most part. But him and I don't want to spoil that, but I mean, I don't know. Barry is just a very interesting character, and he has a lot of dynamics, and You know, I think
I get it. He's human, but he's just like Barry. I mean, he learns nothing. He actually learns nothing.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that for sure.
It made, again, the first couple seasons I liked the show because, again, with Grant Gustin, with Barry Allen carrying it, you liked Barry.
Yeah. In
this season, I didn't like Barry, so that's maybe why the show fell flat for me.
Yeah.
It didn't work for me in that respect. Let's see here. One thing. Okay, I loved it like when Savitar or Future Barry, whatever you want to call him, got into Star Labs and he started circling and stuff. There was a beam in the sky, and I'm like, of course, the beam in the sky. There's always got to be a beam in the sky, whether it's in the Avengers or Batman or Man of Steel. There's always a beam in the sky.
Yeah,
because I still found that little cliche hilarious. But there was Now, was there ever a point when you had Savitar in Star Labs, and I'm like, well, they're really getting through to him?
Yeah.
Or did you think it was a trap the whole time?
I didn't think it was a trap. I definitely didn't think it. And I saw it. I was like, okay, this is a totally twist of, because they went from like almost hating Savitar to wanting to stop him to wanting to trap him in eternal hell in the Speed Force, and then all of a sudden like Barry just blindsides him and gets through to him, and I thought that would have been kind of cool, but that's not an ending to a season.
I like the way they went with it. I think that honestly I would have much rather have liked that, because Barry goes in and he's like, hey, this guy's me, okay, so let me talk to myself, because I know there's still a piece of, it said, what is it? It says, I'm still in there, is what he's quoted at, there's still a good piece of it in there. And then he meets Iris, and then that's getting through. I thought that was really good stuff. And he's talking about how he's like, okay, well, what do we do? I mean, you're with him, you can't be with me, and you it's one of those things where it's like, what if I live? I still can't live with you because you're with him, and all this. I thought that was really good emotional stuff.
Yeah.
And then you come to find out it's all kind of a trick, really.
Yeah.
I mean, what you think is a trick. I felt the gravitas of that scene, and I would like to have much rather seen it played out. I think it would have been much more interesting to play the end of the season, whatever, where Barry, spoiler of course, goes into the Speed Force, and the future Barry is left there.
Well, see, I wanted it the reverse way. So I wanted Barry to kind of trick him and be like, haha, you take my place in the Speed Force. Kind of. I thought that would have been. But I mean, I don't know.
I think that would have been a little too cruel.
Yeah.
I think that would have been. No, I like it better where he tricked him earlier rather than later.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah.
But,
no, yeah. but that last scene, where his mom's trying to take him in there,
okay.
When I saw that, I was just like, I
wouldn't see that. I mean, you don't need his mom to show up.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. The Speed Force is life, so you have these dead souls. So, yeah, you can bring her in there. But really, once you've explained what needs to happen, you don't really need her mom to walk in.
Yeah.
Is what it is. And again, get a little ahead of ourselves here. So let's back up a little bit, okay, to the Speed Wraith. The guy we saw who killed Thawne in, Legends Tomorrow. And we come to find out all you gotta do is freaking freeze him.
Yeah. Well, and I saw that, I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was just like, what? What?
Yeah.
What?
And then he killed him. I'm like,
but what if Killer Frost attacked Barry? I mean, like, is that just the end? Because she shot Barry before, and frozen him, and he had to, what did he have to do? Speed up his cells to heal him faster or something like that. And I was just like, that doesn't make any.
It doesn't make any sense to me. But with that, it was, what do I want to say? Okay, it's. The Speed Wraith or the Black Flash isn't like a real person. He's like a spirit.
Yeah.
You can't freeze a spirit and kill it, can you?
Well, and then she just like hit him with one like little freeze ball, and then he just shatters. And I was just like, "What?"
Okay,
that was so anticlimactic.
I think that's maybe something where it might get rid of him temporarily. I can't speak, but I think he's going to be back. I don't think he's really dead. I don't see that happen at all. But yeah, it was a quick fix, and I thought, well, that's kind of stupid.
Yeah, I think he pops up for the aberrations.
I mean, so why didn't Thawne just have Captain Cold freeze him in Legends?
And then that could have happened too. And actually, I don't know. That whole part was.
I didn't like that season. Okay, the coolest sequence I loved was Savitar versus the Three Flash.
Oh, that was by far the best.
Barry, and Wally.
Yeah,
I love that sequence. It was really cool. It looked really cool. I thought it was really awesome on that. And then of course you have other battles going on right there where Killer Frost saves Vibe, or Cisco, and lets you know that storyline with her throughout the season. I wasn't a huge fan of, but towards the end where they were, trying to redeem her, and where that ended up, I like it.
Yeah, I agree.
I like it, and I want to see where they go with it. Now, as far as Draco Malfoy in this one, because that's what he's always going to be to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he was useless. He's useless.
He didn't add any value. Was he the one that came up with the cure? Was he the one?
Yes, he came with the cure
Yeah.
that she didn't have to take because she redeemed herself.
Yeah.
As well, but I'm just like I get it, and I think for a while there I was feeling bad because when you knew that he had a connection to Savitar, I was like, okay, so let's get this straight here. So yet another time where Caitlin falls for the bad guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Just like season 2. I mean, come on now.
Jeez.
No luck in love at all.
Nope.
For that lady.
But and also I'm kind of curious to see where they take her character from here.
Exactly.
Which I think she belongs with the team, but obviously from the ending, she's not going to be with the team.
Legends.
Yeah.
Put her in Legends.
I still want to. I want the old Caitlyn back. I want the season 1 Caitlyn
well, no,
back.
you gotta give it. There's going to be a mixture. I think she's going to come back to the team, but as Killer Frost, and it's going to be a new dynamic, which I think will be good.
Yeah.
Not same old, same old. Let's get a new dynamic going in there. I'd be completely happy with bringing her in, but. I wouldn't mind seeing her go to another show as well.
That'd be good. And you know who I want to see more regularly on Flash?
Huh?
Gypsy.
Gypsy, yeah, she was great.
Because you know what, her and Cisco, so I didn't understand that part at all. She's sensing Cisco from across the multiverse.
They have a connection, yeah.
Yeah, when did that happen?
I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, when did that happen?
Exactly. Again, another reason why this season just fell flat for me.
No, I agree.
Fell flat for me. Then you have Barry jumps into the Savitar costume and kicks the other Barry out.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was again, something ridiculous that happens. And then, of course, you have Iris kills future Barry or Savitar in that instance. And then they made that joke where it was like, this whole time you're trying to save me and I had to save you.
Yeah, that was just...
Whatever. It was nothing surprised me. Nothing in this entire episode surprised me.
Yeah.
Is what it was.
Well, I'd say I was surprised because I kind of walked in not really knowing, but I mean the way they went with a lot of things, I mean I would have expected something different, So I mean I guess on that aspect it kept me on my toes, but I wasn't thrilled. By the end of the season, I wasn't just like all pumped and hyped for the other one.
It felt flat. I mean, especially Flash. These last 2 seasons have been my favorite of the shows, and the fact that this one again just didn't work. I didn't feel surprised once at all this season. I think they ended that Flashpoint storyline, that timeline, in the first episode. Play that out for at least a couple episodes. At least.
And in the comics, that's a large event, right?
It's a large event,
large-scale event.
That changes all of reality.
So maybe that's why they had to cut it short or something.
No, it's just they could have played with it more. The direction they took it, I just didn't like what they did with it. I guess I would have liked to have seen more changes in their world to where that's what he's fighting as opposed to giving him somebody physical to fight. It didn't work for me. And again, his villain was a speedster. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You have copycat characters to challenge him, but come on now. We've had 3 seasons of 3 speedster villains. Give him someone else to fight.
Well, who I'd like to see is someone really smart. I want to see for Prometheus and he's a real smart character ahead of Oliver. I want to see someone just being Barry can be as fast as he wants, but there's someone just out there 10 steps ahead of him.
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
Exactly, and that's a lot of his rogues gallery, like Captain Cold, Mirror Master, stuff like that.
Yeah,
they all team up at one point to take him on and stuff like that. I want to see something like that where Snart in the comics, much like he's a criminal mastermind. Mm-hmm. So let's see him get the rogues together and throughout the whole season just try to break Barry down physically and mentally.
Yeah, that'd be a good season to watch.
Exactly. So why don't they do it? Okay, call me up.
Well, you have a working formula. I mean, why mess with a working formula?
I have so many theories.
Play it out till he's dead.
I have so many theories about how they can do these comic book movies and shows better.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why is my phone just nobody's calling? Nobody's calling. Come on, man. All right. Okay. So let's talk about the very last scene here. So what happened was you had Savitar in the Speed Force. Basically, that feeds the Speed Force, keeps it alive, really. When he jumped out, he had Wally take his place, so that speedster was, in the Speed Force.
Yep.
Then you had Jay come in, and he was doing that. Now, Cisco pulled Jay from the Speed Force to help Barry take out Savitar, leaving it vacant, and then we got these electrical storms.
Yeah.
So the Speed Force had to be filled by a speedster for it to be kept alive, and that's why Barry, after doing all his mistakes throughout all the season, realized, nope, I got to be the one to go.
Yeah.
I want to say I didn't see it coming. That's probably the best decision I've liked, but at the same time, it's like, well, he's coming back. So it's like, you already know in the first episode he's coming back, and it's by the end of the first episode of season 4, it's all going to be back to formula.
Yeah. Well, so the Speed Force, there's no time in the Speed Force, correct?
I mean, Speed Force technically is time itself.
Yeah, but inside the Speed Force, there's no relative time or anything like that?
There was, just to set you up on this too, is back in the 80s, there was a event called Crisis on Infinite Earths. And what it was is you had all these different realities in DC Comics at the time, and it was their way of blending them all together. Like I said, they do it from time to time to set everything straight, to reset everything, to give new origins and stuff like that. In that timeline, what happened is that Barry was actually running to try to help reset reality, and he basically vanished away where they thought he was dead.
Yeah.
And when that happened, Wally West took over as the Flash, and in the comics, he was the Flash for, I want to say 20 years. It was Wally West. Like, that was like in the 90s and like early 2000s. That was, Wally West was the Flash.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until the end of like 2007, maybe 2008, where Barry Allen actually came back.
Yeah.
Like, it's very rare in comics where a character stays dead that long.
Yeah.
And then he comes back, which, was pretty huge there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, where he was in the Speed Force the whole time.
Yeah.
Is what it was. And he got pulled back from the Speed Force.
Yeah.
So, again, this sets up where, he's in the Speed Force, trying to maintain it. And, of course, Wally is probably going to take over the Flash as being the Flash. I don't know if he's going to stay in his Kid Flash outfit or if he's going to be something different, because right now, Wally West in the comics, he actually is, he has, like, the same kind of look as Kid Flash, except for he's red. So, like, his hair sticks out, but his costume is red.
Red.
So I'm like, I wonder if that's the design they're going to go with for him in season 4.
Yeah. Well, what I would like to see in season 4 is, Barry's in the Speed Force and he just learns. He's just learning about the Speed Force and he learns about himself and all these things. And eventually the Speed Force is just like, okay, you've learned your lesson, you did your time, kind of jail sentence kind of thing.
Well, but one thing we've learned is there has to be a speedster in there. And that's why I thought at the end there, too, I was like, okay, well, Jay's obviously going to do it because he's the older guy and he's going to do it. And I'm like, he didn't go in.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, eventually he will, I bet.
Yeah. So Savitar was satisfying the Speed Force for so long, and then
he was remember he was in there. He said he was in there for like hundreds or thousands of years or something. Yeah, is what it felt like for him.
Okay.
It's what it was. So that's really how it was. But yeah, with that, it's season 3 of Flash just overall not that satisfying in my opinion. What was satisfying though was Arrow.
Yeah, that was
okay. Arrow in the last couple seasons have been season 4. God, that season was horrible. Season 3 wasn't as bad, but it was teetering on bad for me. And then season 4, I just couldn't stand season 4 of Arrow at all.
Well, for me, season 2 and 3 were like the epitome of the Arrowverse for the CW for me. And then this last one, what are they called? Adrian Chase. I didn't love the character, but I loved the idea and
Prometheus.
Prometheus.
You like Prometheus. You didn't like Adrian Chase.
Yeah, and it was a great story. I mean, whoever...
Well, what it was, I felt like this got back to the basics. Because in season 4, they were fighting Damien Dark, a magician or a wizard or whatever. And I'm just like, no. What happened was, in this Arrowverse, you started out with Arrow season 1, very reality-based, no magic or whatever. Yeah. Season 2, you introduced Barry with metahumans and the Flash. Then you got on to time travel with the Legends and aliens with Supergirl. Yeah. This is going back to the roots of what Arrow started off with, which was, just basic street crime, not fighting somebody with special powers. Yeah. Fighting an actual, human being, much like in the season it was Merlin, the Dark Archer. Yeah. Now we had Prometheus. Yeah. Getting back to its roots where I think it really thrived. Yeah. Now, in my personal opinion, one of the reasons I thought this season thrived so well, and did as well, is they dropped, for most part, the Felicity Oliver relationship. Yeah. I have never understood that relationship. I don't get it. To me, those characters would never get together just because one of them is the lead female and one's the lead male. They got to put them together? No. No.
Yeah.
I don't get that. Now, Barry and Felicity, I got that.
Yeah.
I didn't get Oliver and Felicity.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I know Oliver ends up with Diana. So,
yeah, in the comics,
yeah,
she ends up. But that's the thing too is like we thought they keep on changing this. Is like okay. So in the comics, it's Green Arrow and Black Canary that end up together. It's Oliver Queen and Dinah Lance.
Yeah.
Okay. We had Laurel Dinah Lance.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, for season 1, that's she's gonna turn she's gonna turn to Black Canary, right?
Yeah.
Season 2, they bring in Sarah Dinah Lance, and I'm like, okay, not what I was thinking, but all right. So she's Black Canary, okay?
Yeah.
They take her out. They put Laurel in as Black Canary. I'm like, okay, traditional Black Canary. We got it. Wait, nope, she's dead.
Yeah.
Wait, and this girl's Dinah, and she's actually got a canary cry.
Yep.
I'm like, and it's just like they keep playing with it.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Now I can say, oh, maybe that's interesting, but really I think they're just like, we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah. Well, I think they're trying it all out and everything. But from the CW aspect, they don't go to a traditional comic book. They kind of just whatever works for their storyline. They go with. So I mean, I on the other hand like Felicity and Oliver together. Their dynamics and everything.
Yeah.
The only thing I hate, that I absolutely hate, is oh no, Oliver's in trouble. And Felicity's like, oh no, like I'm just like, no, I can do without that dramatic.
One thing that really pissed me off last season too was the Felicity being shot storyline.
Yeah.
And, she's like, oh, she's paralyzed. I'm like, for once, when she was paralyzed last season, I'm like, this might actually be interesting, give a new dynamic to the relationship. I'm kind of digging this. Oh, wait, she's got a chip on her spine. She can walk again.
Yep.
Give me a freaking break, man. And, they had that one episode where they were trapped in the aircade, and the thing short-circuited, so she couldn't walk.
Yep.
But, like, as soon as they got out, she's got the chip
good,
again.
yep.
She can walk.
Yep.
I'm like, why doesn't... gosh, I can't remember his name. Mr. Terrific. I'm going to look this up.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he just mass-produce those for people?
Yeah.
He'd be a bazillionaire.
Yeah, yep.
Bazillionaire if he could do that. I'm like, oh my god.
Well, doesn't Palmertech own the patent on that stuff too? Yeah. I don't know. Palmertech's like...
Well, that's one thing I don't get too, is how is Oliver still technically rich? Because he got his fortune taken away at the end of season 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I get like he was the mayor in this, so he had some money, but I don't get how he still, Felicity is the head of Palmertech,
yeah.
So I still see how they're funded, and then he's the mayor, but last season I didn't get it. I was like, what? How is he still considered a rich boy when he has no money? I just didn't get that.
Yeah, he's I don't know, that whole... I don't know, that part doesn't make sense, but like everything else that they did, like I feel is, I don't know, pretty on point. I'm excited.
This season I felt it was back to the roots of Arrow. They were up to true form, and Curtis, that's his name.
Curtis. Yeah.
I had to look it up in that one. Curtis, they got on point with it, and I'm totally fine with it. I didn't like those episodes though. When they played with Oliver, where he was captured and he was torturing him, and he's like, "I'm a killer, I like it." And I'm like, give me a fucking break. Oliver is too strong of a character to give in to that bullshit.
Oh, he's been tortured multiple times.
Exactly.
On every season, he's been tortured at least twice.
You think he's gonna put up with that?
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. That's just. I thought that was a little weak, and also the fact when Adrian Chase gave up, and I'm just like.
Yeah. Oh, he quit super easy.
I'm like, no. I knew there was a backup plan there. That was way too obvious. One thing I did not like about this season 2 was the lack of Thea. Now, season 1 and season 2, I didn't like Thea, but once she got trained by Malcolm and became Speedy, I really liked the character.
Yeah.
I really liked her a lot, and then the fact that she kind of stepped away from this season, I was like, she put the costume back on for the crossover episode.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's
it.
That's it. I think she's a much better character now, and I would much rather her step it back into Speedy. And I really, honestly, in this last episode, I thought we were gonna get the showdowns. I thought we were gonna get Nessa versus Talia.
Yeah.
We were gonna get Black Canary versus Black Siren.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to see Speedy versus Artemis.
Yeah.
We didn't get that.
Yeah. Artemis is my least favorite character in the entire this. I don't know. Like Arrow made me hate her so much. Like I can't, because she always just betrays Oliver every single time at every corner. Like
well, there's that one when he was tortured and she thought you thought that Chase had actually killed her.
Yeah.
Really, she was just playing. I was like, come on now. she would have served a much better character if she was actually dead.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I wanted Speedy to.
But the fact that she's still alive means she can be used later down the line.
Yeah.
Especially this episode, they brought in Captain Boomerang, and I'm like,
yeah.
Why bring him in? He literally did nothing.
Yeah.
He literally did nothing.
But he's the only one other than Slade that was in the bunker, right?
Yeah.
He's the only other villain.
So I'm not 100% on that.
Yeah.
I think he was. But yeah, he's there because Oliver needs help. He turns on him. He gets captured. Done.
Yep.
I'm like, that was pointless.
Yeah.
Pointless.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculous. That didn't work out. Okay, so let's get into the actual episode. Starting off, he goes in and he knows he needs help. So he hooks up with Malcolm. He hooks up with Nessa.
Yep.
And he goes to get Slade.
Yep.
A guy who hates him and wants to kill him and all this other stuff.
Well, I gotta stop you there. The Marikuru wearing off.
Yes, that's my first thing I was gonna go with.
Like, okay. is that the? I can't believe that. I don't know.
Okay, now
is it a facade?
Well,
I don't know.
Well, let's get that straight, okay? Because remember, before season 2 was when the flashbacks in season 2 were 5 years prior to actually the events of season 2. So for 5 years, he had the Mirakuru in him.
Yeah.
And then, he was there for, a year or two, and it wore off?
Yeah, well, I think it'd be 8 years total, right? Because there's 5 years difference.
We saw him in season 3.
Yeah, end of season 3 is when he got...
each flashback is 5 years prior to what that current season is.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, we saw him in season 3, I think is the last time we actually saw him.
Yeah.
And, he still wanted to kill Oliver. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And, so in 2 years' time, it wore off, even though it lasted for 7 years before that.
Yeah.
I didn't get it, which honestly... I'm fine with it because Slade Wilson, especially in the comics, is an interesting character.
Yeah.
And it worked for the story. And I'd much rather, if that's where we have to go to get him be more useful in future seasons, to get him back in season 6, I'm okay with that.
So what I want for the Slade Wilson character is, how Malcolm's a friend of me?
Yeah.
I would love that. And this entire finale, you saw Oliver interacting with Slade. That's it. You didn't really see Slade interacting with too many other people. And I like the Slade that's, aggressive, in your face. And I know him and Oliver have this special kind of relationship because they've known each other for many, many, many years.
Uh-huh.
But I want to see Slade get down and dirty and just, talk a bunch of crap to everyone. And, I want to see, a savage animal, you know?
Okay, so I'm going to drop some knowledge on you, see if you can follow me down this rabbit hole.
All right.
Okay, so... in this beginning of the episode, they mentioned Oliver gave Slade a drive, USB drive, saying all the information about his son.
Yep.
Okay, which I don't think I can't remember ever mentioning his son. I mean,
well, in the flash forward of the DC, isn't when Diggle's son doesn't he fight Slade's son?
I don't know. I remember that.
Yeah.
Remember, I don't watch Legends, so I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember that episode, but I don't remember him being in there. So
okay,
so they mentioned Slade's son. In this, okay? And in the actual comic book, Slade's son is a member of the Teen Titans for a while.
Yeah.
Along with Kid Flash, Robin, Wonder Girl, Aqualad, all them as well. And Greg Berlanti, who produces Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, is starting a new show on their Warner Brothers All Access, their streaming service they're trying to get going.
Yeah.
Which is a Teen Titans show.
Yeah, that.
So, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but what if they're going to connect that Teen Titans show to Arrow through Slade's son?
I think it all definitely needs to be part of the same universe, and I think...
They don't have to. I mean, just because, like I said, Greg Berlanti, he's also producing another show coming out on the CW, Black Lightning. Have you seen the trailer?
Oh, yeah, I have seen the Black Lightning trailer.
That's on the CW.
Yeah.
It's a superhero show by Greg Berlanti, not in the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
Which I think is a mistake, but that's not going to be a part of it. But, I mean, Greg Berlanti can do shows not in the Arrowverse, but it's more fun, I think, if you get more stuff connected.
Well, and then I think it'd be easier transition to do ultimately movies towards the end. I know all these episodes next to each other, you could binge watch them and it's a big, huge, long movie, but I think it'd be kind of cool to have, high budget, high action, action movies.
Of course, and people said, do you want to play, because people were actually, when they announced the Flash movie,
yeah.
and then they wanted Grant Gustin to be the Flash. And they're like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
It's totally separate, and people were upset. I'm like, whatever, dude. It's the movies. They're gonna keep them separate. And personally, I've enjoyed these last couple of years of superhero TV more than I had superhero movies.
Oh, for sure, because then you grow to love these characters.
Well,
I know that you're a big Sarah fan. Me not so much, but I mean, you grow like these kind of relationships with these people. Like I feel like Stephen Amell is like my best friend because I watch him every Wednesday.
Do you follow him on Instagram and Twitter?
Yeah.
Oh, he's great on there.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Tonight is the American Ninja Warrior episode he's on.
Oh, really?
Tonight, American Ninja Warrior, Stephen Amell. Yes.
Yeah.
I totally forgot it was tonight. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I just remember that. All right, gotta watch that. Okay. Check on the list.
Yeah.
In between my 40.
Okay, how far do you think he goes?
Oh, he goes all the way.
You think he goes all the way?
Freaking Stephen Amell.
He's
okay.
Dude, I want to see him just go and just demolish the standing ladder.
It's like this, okay? He is known on the TV show for being a badass.
Yeah.
If he can't make it through that course, he doesn't have to like break any records, but if he at least can't make it through that course, it ruins his credibility as the Arrow.
How much would you love it if he would was the next badass ninja? So I follow Ninja Warrior religiously. I know.
I love the show. I want to go on the show. I'd be horrible at it, but I'd love to do the course.
They had it in San Antonio 2 months ago or whatever.
Oh, yeah?
Dude, oh man. I know each person like they're, oh my God, I love Ninja Warrior, but no, I want him to be great, and I want to, that'd make my day. That'd make my day.
All right, I gotta remember to watch that. I'll watch it tomorrow morning or something like that. But we're getting off subject.
All right, my bad.
Okay, so where was I?
Derail the train.
Slate Sun. Oh yes, we were talking about connected shows. Okay, Captain Boomerang. He's useless. Speedy. Yeah. Okay, going back to what I said earlier. Felicity and Oliver kiss.
Yep.
Which they've been hinting at the last couple episodes. I get it. I just don't. I don't like it.
I like it.
If that's the route they're going back on this, I'm like, because what happened was we had that crossover episode. Just speaking about the invasion episodes, the Supergirl episode. Was a wash.
Yeah.
Legends Tomorrow when they wrapped it up, I'm like, whatever. But the Flash and the Arrow episodes, I loved of the crossover. Those were phenomenal, especially the Arrow episode, given the fact that it is the oldest show of the universe. They go back and they show the characters, and you have Laurel in there.
Yeah.
And I realized how much I want Laurel back.
Yeah.
And which is why I was so excited when Black Siren came on. I'm just like, oh, please say it's the real Laurel. Please say it's reality, something. And it turned out it was Black Siren.
Yeah.
And I think from what I heard, Katie Cassidy, the actress, is joining the series again as a season regular.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, either A, Black Siren is going to get reformed, or B, Sarah actually did something when she did that spear.
Yeah.
I mean, I could totally see a couple episodes into Legends Tomorrow, or even, Arrow, Laurel pops back up, and she's been somewhere, and, Sarah changed reality where she was alive again.
I don't think that'll happen. I mean, I'd like to see that happen, but I like the new Diana better. Oh, not better. I like her similarly.
I mean, I hate it when again, like I said, when Arrow first premiered, I didn't like Laurel.
Yeah.
As once she learned Oliver's secret, I liked her a little better. I wasn't big with how she became Black Canary.
Yeah.
But once she was part of the group as Black Canary, I hated her outfit.
Yeah.
Hated her outfit. But I liked her in that. And the fact they killed her off, I was a little sad.
Yeah.
And in this season, the way they've teased that actress as Black Siren in the 100th episode of Arrow, in, Legends Tomorrow, all that, made me realize how much I want this character to come back.
Yeah.
Because to me, I think, she is the true love interest for Oliver Queen.
Yeah, well, the only two characters that I'm really invested in the Arrowverse would have to be Dig.
I was going to say Diggle, yeah!
Dig was probably the top, and I'm not including Oliver, because Oliver is obviously
Oliver
Arrow.
is the Arrow.
But Slade, those are like the two people that I am honestly invested in.
I love Oliver. I like Felicity. I don't like Felicity and Oliver together.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
Because when they put them together, I feel like that's when they kind of started messing with that character.
Yeah.
And, not making her as interesting as she should be. But Diggle, with this season, just kind of totally touching on him briefly, was I like how they showed towards the end there him and his wife's relationship.
Yeah.
And about how she took over for Argus, what it meant to their relationship and stuff like that. And Diggle has always been that rock, that solid rock. Yeah. And I love that he's always there for Oliver.
I feel like Diggle's the one character that could balance out every other character around him. So, even when Felicity needs something to go to,
someone to talk to,
it's Dig.
Yeah, I love that.
Arsenal, even every character that's ever had any issue or anything, Diggle is
the rock.
And what he does is he helps them resolve the issue, and for Oliver, he's Oliver's best friend. He's Oliver's best friend.
Oliver leans on him, and he's like the I was going to say in a relationship. Oliver is the father who yells and barks orders, "It's my way or the highway." Yeah. And then Diggle's like the comforting mom, be like, "Hey man, it's all right. Yeah. It'll be okay."
Yeah, And when I first started watching it, I wanted him to be the Green Lantern,
Yeah, they talked about that, yeah.
But now that I see the character that he's evolved into, I couldn't imagine him as anyone else. I really cannot,
I get it. What do you think about the new recruits this year?
So this final episode, seeing all of the cast or all of Team Arrow minus Arsenal, I actually thought it was really cool. I mean, to see how many characters that
I'm like, God damn! It's like when I
someone that doesn't want a team, he has so many people on his team.
When I was watching Flash this season, I was like, there's a lot of people in Star Labs. Much like last season, I was like, there's a lot of people in the Arrow team.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I liked it better when it was just him, Felicity, and Diggle.
Yeah.
I wish we could just go back to that. Maybe you could add, a Black Canary in there too. Maybe Artemis, but Wild Dog and Mr. Terrific, they're okay.
Yeah.
I don't mind them, but I could do without them, honestly.
But honestly, in most of the battles, they're really not there. I feel like they're those are the kind of characters that when there's multiple events going on, they just send one team over there. And this is what's crazy is they have kind of like Argus kind of vibe going on where they have multiple teams in different areas.
Another spinoff, dude.
Yeah.
Let's thin out the cave, thin out Star Labs. Again, get a spinoff. Take Killer Frost and put her away. Oh, got it. Killer Frost and Black Siren spinoff. Dude!
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yep.
And then you bring in Alex and Maggie.
Yep, there you go. A whole female team.
Girl.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That'd be perfect. I love that show. I love that show.
I think every guy in the whole world would love that show.
Exactly. Be like, screw Arrow. We're watching this.
Yeah. It's from all in bikinis.
Oh, my God. Yes. We're on to it. I tell you, Warner Brothers, call us up. Call us up. We know what it's all about.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. All right. Okay. Slade, there's a couple of conversations that happened in this episode. You got Slade talking to Oliver about survivor's guilt.
Yep.
How he blamed himself for his father's death and surviving and all this. It was a decent speech, not too bad. I like it how it was coming from Deathstroke because he has known him for a long time now.
Yep.
He's fought him. He's studied him, so he knows Oliver probably better than almost anyone.
I'm not gonna lie. Other than Diggle, he knows all. And so this is the thing I was thinking about today. Slade or Deathstroke, whatever you want to call it, he's the only one that Oliver has never lied to. He's the only person that Oliver's always been his true self with.
I get that.
Speedy, even Diggle, everyone. He's at some point, one time or another, lied to him. So I feel like Slade knows him on a whole different level. And that's why seeing these interactions in this last episode, all the heartfelt moments and all that kind of stuff, is interesting. But I mean, I want to see, the Slade Wilson, the down and dirty. I want to see him.
I would I'd love to see him get pop up in other shows, perhaps even too.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see him popping up in Legends, teaming up with Sarah.
Yep, that would be pretty sweet, And he killed so many
he killed his mom. He killed Oliver's mom, and that's why the rest of them are just like, what?
Yeah, every person that saw him was just like, what is he doing here?
Exactly.
And I think Oliver, their relationship goes below, deeper down than that.
Because it was through, basically Slade is the one that trained him.
Yeah.
He's the one that, those early fighting, a lot of what his core training is, fighting style, is Slade.
Yep.
And that's, where he gets that from. So let's talk about the flashbacks, okay? Because I'm curious. The theory is now no more flashbacks.
Yep.
Season 6, we're done with flashbacks because we got to that point here where Oliver was rescued at the end of this.
What? Go
ahead. I'll let you go.
All right. I got just some crazy fan theory out there. What if they start doing flash forwards?
Yeah,
You know,
I heard that too.
So what if they, have some scenario, and Oliver's trying to figure out something, and then they show aftermath. So they give Oliver a villain, and maybe Oliver fails or something, and Oliver does all these series of events, and you see like this scenario.
Well, didn't they kind of do that in last season with the whole death thing, where like they at the beginning of the first episode they teased somebody's funeral.
Yeah.
And there was a couple episodes there where they teased again at the funeral, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be fine because the flashbacks, while they were interesting, they didn't do anything for me.
They diminish the story.
When I go back and rewatch like on Netflix,
Yeah.
I usually skip the flashbacks.
Yeah.
It's not that interesting to me. It was totally interesting how they brought this all together. Where again, they are at the end of that 5-year period there of Oliver. And he sets it up where you learn he wasn't on the island the whole time. His beard wasn't even real.
Yeah,
I was
when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
I'm like, okay, he's got his beard on still when he's talking to his mom on the phone. I'm like, at one point, did he just rip it off? He'd be like, here, I'm going to the bathroom to shave. He just pulls it off. It was just weird, but yeah, I like, again, it's interesting. I thought that eventually they would put him back on the island. He'd be there for a little while, which is how he grows the beard, but no, he's fighting the villain, Constantine, up until the minute he has to go get on that boat to be rescued. And again, that just added, going back and watching, that first episode where he gets rescued, it's going to be a whole different mindset now. Now we know, and it's interesting how they brought it full circle.
Yeah, and I like how they reshot that footage, but it's like almost scene for scene.
It is. I think it is. Yeah, this is the scene exactly from that very first episode. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. So that was surprising. That caught me. That blindsided me for sure.
But I think it's too. I felt like they should have ended this season on a bookend, where like make it kind of happy, because then you could have just. There's the show was Supernatural. They had it where they were building for 5 seasons, one storyline, and at the end of that 5th season you had like a perfectly good one big story in 5 seasons. To where they continued it and stuff too. But still, you could look at that 5 seasons and be like, it's one gigantic story that really pays off in the end. And I feel like you should have done that with Arrow, where you can continue on in season 6 with a whole new different set of circumstances without flashbacks. But this was all about Oliver, his beginnings, how he became Green Arrow, how he got to that point, and then start off season 6 with a brand new storyline. Yeah,
this is a whole new era of Arrow, which I thought it was kind of weird that they left it on such a big cliffhanger where Leanne knew.
It's not a cliffhanger because we know they survived.
Oh yeah, it's everyone on Team Arrow.
I did think though. I thought they were gonna. The theory that I have is that his baby mama is not going to make it out. And he's going to have to raise his son.
I think I don't think that.
I think that.
I honestly don't think William will be anywhere near.
But that'd be a new level. Again, that'd be something different as opposed to, hey, we're just by ourselves, we're fighting crime. Give Oliver a change up, give him a new responsibility. Change the character, make him grow.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. I just.
But the bombs went off, and I'm just like, nobody's on that freaking island.
Yeah, where do you think they're at?
They probably got to the boat. Because remember, Slade was supposed to lead them to the other side.
Yeah, you don't think they got to the bunker? No. I think they might be underground.
They're fine. Wherever they're at, they're fine.
Yeah.
Felicity's fine. Diggle's fine. Thea's fine. Slade's fine.
Malcolm's good, probably.
Malcolm's good, because you got to keep Malcolm in there. Curtis, I mean, again, I could do...
All right, who do you think they would kill off from... Or do you think, if anyone, they would kill anyone off other than the baby mama?
The two they're going to kill off... honestly, like I said, I could see the top 3 are either going to be baby mama, Dinah, or I would say Curtis. I want to say Curtis, but he's the new comic relief, so I wouldn't say they get rid of him.
Yeah.
Wild Dog, I'd say they can get rid of, but he's got the whole storyline with his child, and he's close to Quentin now.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of Quentin.
No,
you can't do that.
Yeah.
But I can honestly see them getting rid of Dinah, just knowing that they're bringing Katie Cassidy back.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, you can't have 2 of them, so I can see. But I think that'd be a disservice because they just brought this character in, made us think she's going to be the new Black Canary. To kill her off would be a disservice, I think.
Yeah. I think pretty much everyone. I honestly. I'm gonna go with the high road here. I think everyone's gonna get off.
I think everyone can get off.
I think everyone's gonna get off. Everyone's gonna be fine. And then And I think if anything, Oliver's baby mama will take William away and just be like, "You're never gonna see him ever again."
After all this,
yes, yeah, be like, you know, I've never been in so much danger in my life. Like,
but at the same time, it's like she's in it. It's too late now.
Yeah.
Like you can take him away,
yeah.
but you know the next villain,
the
next villain that comes along is gonna find her.
Yeah. You know?
I mean, the best thing for her to do is hop on the Wave Rider and go travel through time.
Yeah, that way no one can get her. Yeah.
Save his place for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, man, yeah. But again, this season of Arrow, we got back to work. There was a couple, like, once they actually showed who Prometheus was, because I had, like, okay, going through it, starting out the season, I knew Prometheus was either that love interest, the girl, the reporter, or it was the DA.
Yeah.
It was one of those two. And I was like, yeah, it's one of the two. So when they revealed to be Chase, I'm like, okay, whatever. Yeah.
But Arrow has a theme. They reveal the villain early, so they put a face on the bad guy. That's what I didn't like about Flash. They waited till the very end to show Savitar.
They've done that, yeah. Well, like I said, like even like say go back Arrow season 1, they revealed the mid-season finale that it was Malcolm Merlyn.
Yep.
Flash season 1 at the mid-season they revealed it was Harrison Wells.
Yeah.
I mean that's just what they do.
Yeah.
And that's completely fine. But again, this one got back to they were fighting a human, no magic, no monsters, no metahumans, whatever. And got back to form. I love the 100th episode. Just that speech between him and Laurel, where it's like, and that's what I really thought that when Laurel came back, I thought that was really her because it was, you know, him and Felicity were no more.
Yeah.
And I thought, of course, Laurel Lance, you know, she's Black Canary. They're meant to be together.
You're holding out.
I'm holding on for that.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I kind of hope when they run with him and Felicity. I think for someone that doesn't have the comic book background, I think it's the most logical way to go.
No.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that speech in the 100th episode where, like, you could see he was giving that speech where he's like, all I know is that I love you and I want to be with you. And I'm like, that he was telling the truth where he truly does. I mean, even...
Oh, when you talking about when she's dying?
No, not in the 100th episode when he goes to her, like, they're supposed to get married. He's like, I just want you to run away with me because I love you. And, you know, he was being completely honest with himself. Not to mention the fact that, you know, he spent 5 years with Laurel's picture.
Yeah.
And that was his reason to go on. He was about ready to kill himself in that prison there on the drugs the last episode.
Yeah.
And who did he see that saved him? Laurel.
Yep. I don't know. I think there's...
I'm going to drop this mic now.
No. I don't know. We're going to take the difference of opinion here on this one.
God, man. Oh, okay. But yeah, and then, okay, so last thing I want to touch on, speaking of good conversations, the call with his mom. I love the call with his mom.
Yeah, the single teardrop.
The tears, the way his mom reacted, it was perfect scene. I loved it, and seeing that actress again, I loved, you know, how she was in those first couple of seasons.
Yeah.
And, that was a great scene.
Yeah.
Great scene. And again, you have the whole backstory now.
Yeah.
So again, I'm gonna go back and rewatch season 1 of Arrow
and have a whole different look on it.
Oh my god, yeah, the whole thing now where you know the whole time you're like, oh, he was just on that island. He got attacked a couple of times, whatever. I'm like, no, he wasn't on the island for basically any of it.
Yeah.
You know, and he planned this whole thing to come back to the very minute because you know back in I think it was like season 3 or something, he actually saw what had happened to his family, and since then has been planning to come back and help them out and save his city.
Yeah.
Just boom.
There you go, man. Well, this is a new chapter in Arrow, and I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I think that was the best. I think I'm looking forward to that season probably the most.
So we sat down, we just talked about it. Okay, rank your seasons again after this lengthy conversation about our CW superhero shows.
All right. I honestly have to go with Arrow as number 1, Legends for number 2, Flash for number 3, and Supergirl.
Supergirl's still at the bottom. Yeah. Come on, man.
I know. But you know what? Honestly, I mean, Supergirl was so far down for me that I had almost no interest in it. To now, where I actually I'm caring about
those last couple episodes. Exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't always my favorite, but those last couple episodes put it above. Like it was like there on level of Flash, but those last couple episodes bumped it up to where it's number 2 for me, then Flash, then Legends.
Well, but now these are all people I care about. So, I mean, it went from like being something like, oh, I have to watch it because the crossover is coming over and I want to be well informed of everything, to now where, okay, it's Monday night, I'm going to watch Supergirl, you know? Like,
that's what it is, yeah, exactly.
But over time, you know, it might completely flip, you know, you never know.
I miss how at the beginning of the season, they did one series and I like, Monday was Supergirl, Tuesday was Flash, Wednesday was Arrow, Thursday was Legends.
Yep.
Now they put Legends and Flash on the same night. I'm just like, Blah, to make way for Riverdale. Blah.
Yeah. But eventually, what I would like to see is like 2 nights. Maybe 6 shows.
Yeah, and like I said, they're bringing in Black Lightning, so they're going to fill that spot. Although I think that's mid-season. I don't think it's fall.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good to break everything up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, kids. There are 2 other shows that are in the Arrowverse, which is on CWC. Vixen. Okay, they actually just came out with the DVD of that first season. Actually,
yeah.
I've seen the first season. I don't think I've seen the second season. But really, when it's a season, it's only like a half hour.
Yeah.
So you can watch that, and then Constantine.
Yeah.
This season, they're bringing out animated Constantine. They had NBC had a Constantine TV show.
Yeah.
Only went 1 season, but then they took the exact same actor and brought him into season 4 of that episode of Arrow. Now he's coming back and doing the voice for the animated Constantine on the CWC.
Yeah.
So technically, in this universe, we have 6 shows.
Yeah.
Is what it is, included the animated stuff. And the girl who voices Vixen on the CWC played Vixen in the episode of Arrow last season as well.
Yeah.
Then you got Vixen, of course, her ancestor in Legends. It's again, I like the shared universe because that's what growing up with comic books. That's what it felt like with what Marvel Studios is doing.
Yeah.
I love it because you could see, Superman pop into a Batman comic book, or you could see, Flash pop into Green Arrow, for an issue or 2. And it's like, the cross, the jumping from back and forth titles is what it was all about with the comic books too. So the fact that you have this shared universe, the fact that you can see, Green Arrow pop up in Flash or in Legends Tomorrow, to me, it feels like a comic book. It feels like a shared universe. And also, it's not easy keeping all that continuity. So they're doing a good job of it, giving us interesting characters. And, jumping off this, I mean, Arrow and Supergirl, I can't wait for next season. Flash and Legends. And which is weird because Flash, out of all of them, like comic book character-wise, Flash is my favorite.
Oh, he's by far the best, probably, in my opinion, probably the best superhero of all time.
No. So my top 5 DC comic heroes are Superman, Aquaman, Flash, Green Lantern, and then Green Arrow.
Yeah.
So, Flash is up there above Green Arrow for me, of course, above Supergirl. But, again, this season just fluttered out for me, man.
Yeah.
It fluttered out.
Well, so Marvel's, ran, the blockbuster movies, for, the last, 6-7 years now? And now I think DC's giving them a run for their money.
Supergirls are getting good reviews. Wonder Woman's getting good reviews.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But, okay, guys. We're done. Now it's your turn. Hit us back up. DaysspringDiscussions@gmail.com. You can hit us up on the Facebook group, but Aaron won't because he doesn't have Facebook.
No Facebook.
We are on Twitter, though. Dayspring Discussions. You see I added you?
Yeah.
I friended you? Okay. So, so go there. So hop on. Let us know what you think. Are you as disappointed as I was in Flash? Where do you fall on the Felicity versus Laurel debate?
Yeah.
Okay, who are you with? Are you with Team Aaron and Felicity?
Yep.
Are you with Team Sean and Laurel? I'm going to post that on Facebook, and we'll see where we fall on that.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I'm probably going to win on that one because you know what? Everyone wants to see that.
So we run quite a bit long. We usually do an hour-long episode. We run an hour and a half. So, but I've loved sitting down and talking, man.
Yeah.
Because I don't get to talk about this many people.
Yeah.
But it's awesome coming. Thanks for coming, man.
Hey, man, I really appreciate you having me. Anytime you want me to come through, let me know.
We talk. I talk about the season premieres too.
Yep.
So when season premieres come out, maybe we'll come back in the fall and we'll do that.
Yeah. So I mainly watch TV for the main part. I don't watch too many movies.
Did you see Game of Thrones trailer yesterday?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Woo! That looks good.
We're getting there. All right, guys. So that's gonna be it for us today. I'm gonna go start my Star Wars celebration because yes, today is the 40th anniversary of Star Wars. 40 years ago, we got Star Wars A New Hope, so I'm going to go get drunk and do that. So, okay, until next time, may the Force be with us all.